Good morning, friends, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Trans India Real People, Real Emotions. Friends, this week we have a very exciting interaction lined up for you. One of the biggest problems that the road transport industry faces is that of shortage of skilled manpower. This includes drivers, back-end staff, managerial people, and various other positions. Logistics and especially road transport is said to have a shortage of this skill set. And this is where the government steps in to fill the void with the formation of the Logistics Sector Skill Council, also known as the LSC. The Logistics Sector Skill Council has been set up by Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship through National Skill Development Corporation of India, also known as the NSDC, and promoted by the Confederation of Indian Industries Institute of Logistics, a center of excellence in logistics, with the aim to develop skill-trained as well as upskill the workforce in India. And friends, this week we have Gopinath Ramakrishnan, the founder of VIVE Consulting Services LLP, interacting with Ramesh Venkat, Head Industry Partnerships and CSR, Logistics Sector Skill Council. Gopi and Ramesh will be talking about the shortages that this industry faces and how LSC is taking steps to fill this gap. But first, here are the headlines of the week. Ashok Leyland strengthens its CNG portfolio with the launch of ICV E-Comet Star CNG range. Infra projects expected to route through PM Gati Shakti's NPG after April 1, says DPIIT Secretary. Over 26,600 crore collected through FASTag on national highways till January in FY22, says the centre. Truck registrations in Maharashtra rise 50%, signalling return of good times in the commercial vehicle space. More details on the headlines and our interaction between Gopi and Ramesh coming up after this very short break. Stay tuned and keep watching Trans India, Real People, Real Emotions.
याद है, कुछ इसी तरह का स्टंट मैंने आज से करीब 30 साल पहले भी किया था। लेकिन आज इस डबल ट्रक्स के स्टंट की वजह कुछ और है। डबल गारंटी। पेश है नया महिंद्रा फ्यूरियो 7, जो आता है डबल गारंटी के साथ। महिंद्रा ये गारंटी देते हैं कि उनके नए महिंद्रा फ्यूरियो 7 का माइलेज आपके मौजूदा ट्रक से ज्यादा है। अगर ऐसा नहीं हुआ तो कर दीजिए ट्रक वापस। नया महिंद्रा फ्यूरियो 7 आपको देता है गारंटीड रीसेल वैल्यू 5 साल के बाद। खरीदते समय माइलेज की गारंटी और बेचते समय रीसेल वैल्यू की गारंटी, तो हुई ना डबल गारंटी।
Welcome back, friends. I am Girish Michandani and you are watching Trans India, Real People, Real Emotions. In the last few months, there has been a thrust on CNG trucks, with diesel getting expensive and states having entry norms. In the last couple of years, there has been a focus on CNG trucks, with diesel getting expensive and also with CNG being a cleaner fuel. Manufacturers are now rolling out CNG products to cater to this segment. Ashok Leyland launched the E-Comet Star ICV CNG range, which offers best-in-class range and kilometer kg power and single fill range in the segment. The customers can choose from two options of 16.1 tons and 14.25 tons GVW and 3-cylinder options, 360, 480 and 570 litres. Speaking at the launch, Mr. Sanjeev Kumar, Head MNHCV Ashok Leyland, said, with ICV CNG segment witnessing a spurt in demand, we have introduced our first of many CNG trucks range, the E-Comet Star, based on a highly successful E-Comet platform. As the transition towards cleaner mobility solutions is progressing forward, the customer's needs are also evolving, and hence the CNG range can cater to those needs with safer, fuel-efficient and best-in-class total cost of ownership. This new range will further strengthen our portfolio, helping us improve our market share in the fast-growing CNG space and help us in our journey to achieve our vision of being amongst the top 10 commercial vehicle manufacturers globally. Staying true to the company's philosophy of Aapki Jeet Hamari Jeet, focus of the exteriors and interiors have been on enhancing driver safety. Enabled with advanced digital driver assist dashboard, it meets the new age customer expectations and powerful round headlamp to increase safety during night operations. Coupled with high fuel efficiency, better tire life, longer service intervals and overall lower maintenance cost, it translates to enhancement in the turnaround time for the fleet owner, thereby resulting in best-in-class total cost of ownership. While truck manufacturers are rolling out an array of new products to cater to the growing demands and requirements of the segment, the government too is busy rolling out new highways and coming up with plans to enhance infrastructure in the country. The implementation framework for PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan is taking its final shape at a faster pace, and after April 1 this year, every infrastructure project is expected to route through the network planning group constituted under this initiative. The PM Gati Shakti plan was announced last year with an aim to break departmental silos and bring in more holistic and integrated planning and execution of projects with a view to address the issues of multimodal and last-mile connectivities. This will help in bringing down the logistics cost, Secretary in the Department for Promotion of Industry and International Trade Anurag Jain said. Things are in readiness, the empowered group of secretaries and NPG are constituted and the technical support unit is more or less in place. So the structure is there, he said. With new roads coming up and roads getting better, the FASTag toll collection also has been rising since the last couple of years. The government informed the parliament that over 4.59 crore FASTags have been issued in the country till January end, and the total collection through FASTag till January in FY22 has surpassed Rs 26,600 crore. Mr. Nitin Gadkari, Union Minister for Road Transport and Highways, said in a written reply to a question in Rajya Sabha, over 4.59 crore FASTags have been issued till January 31st, 2022. He further informed that the user fee collection through FASTag on national highways was Rs 10,728.52 crores in FY20, 20,837.08 crore in FY21, and 26,622.93 crore up to January in FY22. The road transport industry, although low on profits, still seems to be in a good space. We have seen rise in FASTag collections, we have seen a rise in issuance of e-way bills, and at the same time, truck registrations too have been going up. Maharashtra witnessed a huge jump of 50% in heavy goods truck registration and rise of 13% in tempo registrations in 2021 as compared to the previous year of the pandemic. Transporters said that several new heavy commercial vehicles were purchased in 2021 to ensure speedy, uninterrupted deliveries with zero breakdowns, and also with the situation returning back to near normal. There was more demand from citizens purchasing online through e-commerce sites. Malkit Singh Bal, former president of AIMTC, said, "It is a fact that the logistics sector witnessed a huge growth due to citizens opting to purchase goods to be delivered directly at home. Many of these items were transported from across the state and from godowns and warehouses in areas like Bhiwandi to Mumbai. There was a demand for commercial transportation, and this is one of the several reasons for increase in new purchases." He further said, "There is a second reason for phasing out of few old truck and tempos in 2021, which had completed 8-year lifespan, and replacing them with new vehicles. The association now plans to move the core to demand that the lifespan be increased to 12 to 15 years, as the new BS6 norm vehicles are less polluting." Meanwhile, Mahendra Arya, National President of All India Transporters Welfare Association, said that single truck operators did not make any new purchases in 2021 as their business was badly hit due to the pandemic. It was mainly the big companies and operators with a huge fleet who decided to replace the old fleet with good quality, high-speed trucks with good pollution control norms. One of the reasons was also the 28% benefit they got in GST on purchasing new trucks, which is just like a discount, said Mahendra Arya. Well friends, that's it from the news segment this week. And coming up after this very short break is our interaction between Gopi and Ramesh. Stay tuned and keep watching Trans India, real people, real emotions.
याद है, कुछ इसी तरह का स्टंट मैंने आज से करीब 30 साल पहले भी किया था। लेकिन आज इस डबल ट्रक्स के स्टंट की वजह कुछ और है। डबल गारंटी। पेश है नया महिंद्रा फ्यूरियो 7, जो आता है डबल गारंटी के साथ। महिंद्रा ये गारंटी देते हैं कि उनके नए महिंद्रा फ्यूरियो 7 का माइलेज आपके मौजूदा ट्रक से ज्यादा है। अगर ऐसा नहीं हुआ तो कर दीजिए ट्रक वापस। नया महिंद्रा फ्यूरियो 7 आपको देता है गारंटीड रीसेल वैल्यू 5 साल के बाद। खरीदते समय माइलेज की गारंटी और बेचते समय रीसेल वैल्यू की गारंटी, तो हुई ना डबल गारंटी।
Welcome back, friends, to Trans India, real people, real emotions. This week we have Mr. Gopinath Ramakrishnan interviewing Mr. Ramesh Venkat exclusively for Trans India. So for a change, I'll be glad to take a back seat and enjoy my filter coffee while Gopi interviews Ramesh and sees what LSC is all about and what are its plans. But here's a little bit about Gopi and Ramesh. Gopinath Ramakrishnan, or Gopi as he is called, has 30 years of experience in business strategy, marketing and operations. Gopi is the founder of VIVE Consulting Services LLP, leading engagements in the areas of strategy, marketing and supply chain and logistics. Gopi has been deeply involved in the supply chain and logistics sector in India for the past 10 years. He has overseen multiple consulting assignments in this space, dealing with the entire transport ecosystem. Gopi has been an active speaker at conferences in India and abroad. He has also been a guest speaker at leading management schools, including the Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad. Ramesh Venkat, on the other hand, has also been a logistics professional with over 30 years of domain knowledge across diverse industries like retail, automotive, industrial, and consumer logistics sectors. He has held leadership positions handling multimodal logistics, supply chain management for domestic and international organizations such as the Future Group, APL Logistics, YCS Logistics Pte Limited, Murugappa Group, Henkel and Britannia Industries Limited. During his career span, besides India, Ramesh has worked in the Middle East, Europe, USA and China. So friends, let's get into this interaction and see how the Logistics Skill Council is trying to bridge the skill gap in the logistics segment. Yes, Gopi, in an exclusive interaction with Ramesh, only for Trans India.
So, hi Ramesh, nice to see you here.
Yeah.
Can you just start by sharing a little bit about what your role is today with the organization, a little bit about what you guys do?
I'm truly delighted and glad to be a part of the show. Thanks to Girish, Trans Topics. So just to give you a quick rundown, Logistics Sector Skill Council, we are a 7+-year-old Section 8 not-for-profit organization. What we do, in short, is to be a bridge between the government, industry and academia to ensure supply of skilled, trained, certified workforce across 12 logistics subsectors in the country. And these 12 logistics subsectors are warehousing, transportation, road, rail, sea, ICD, CFS, port terminals, express couriers, e-commerce, cold chain, liquid logistics, EXIM. So we pan across India, and whatever LSE does is for the country. And we are also part of 3 critical national policies, we are part of the Skill India Mission program. We are part of the national education policy, where we are trying to formalize education from school to higher education and institutions. Third is we are also part of the national logistic policy, which is in the offing.
Great. So Ramesh, thanks for sharing the broad scope of what you guys do, which is essentially looking at skilling across India, working in tandem with the government, with industry and academia. To give a sense of the scale of your operations, can you share a little bit about the numbers in terms of the people you have trained, the kind of positions they were trained for?
Yeah, great question. So let me start with the levels, because we have something called as NSQF, which is again a guidance that is coming through European Union. NSQF means National Skills Qualification Framework. This is agnostic to all sector skill councils. So the level 1 starts for an entry-level worker, where we certify with what is measured can be managed. So level 1 is for the entry-level worker, and level 10 is for the CEO. So we hover somewhere around level 8, where there was a big vacuum in terms of content for skilling. It was not there. And the government doesn't permit you to, cut, paste, copy outside India. Sure. They check on plagiarism and so on. So we have 10 levels. And talking about the numbers, in the last 1 year, despite pandemic, we are into both offline and online program for skilling. Pandemic was a blessing for triggering or starting LLMS, Logistic Learning Management System, where we skill train both students and working professionals from the industry from remote. numbers we've achieved in the recent past, the last 1 year itself is about close to slightly less than 4 lakh people across the country, and this is going to only proliferate.
Wonderful. I think 4 lakh is like, a huge number for this industry, and to have trained them in 1 year, especially given the pandemic situation. How do you go about identifying the people whom you can train? How do you source the people?
Great question. So one is the biggest challenge, what we feel as a sector skill council, people are not aware. There is tremendous lack of awareness, and both as a council, the government, we have not propagated ourselves the way we actually need to, sensing the kind of pent-up demand. So today, post-pandemic, everybody's been ordering anything and everything by a press of a button. The e-commerce is on a big boom. So everybody needs people. Like I'm glad to share, we've partnered with Flipkart. We opened a skill center jointly with the KSDC, Karnataka Skill Development Corporation, which is a state government entity. Similarly, we are trying to replicate this across states as a model where the government, the industry and LSC, from the academic point to formalized education, we come together. They've asked us to skill almost 40,000 people in the next 2 years at various levels. I mean, you have picker, packer, data entry operator, transport coordinator, warehouse fulfillment supervisor. And this apart, there is also a huge demand for technical staff. If you look at MHEs, people are all shifting from IC engines to electric vehicles and two-wheeler, three-wheeler. And just about 3 days ago, we got a call from Tata Motors where they want thousands of heavy vehicle drivers for passenger buses for the state road transport corporations across the country. So these are new sets of skills that we need to actually develop, skill train, certify on road safety, reducing accidents, reducing pollution, green energy, how to charge these batteries, how to maintain the health of the vehicle, how to swap the batteries on various weather conditions.
Sure.
So this is bound to grow, and the figure that I mentioned is maybe just a scratch on the surface what you see. In a large country like India having 130 plus crore population, this actually has to migrate to crores of people, and also enable to achieve the vision of India being the skill capital of the world.
Oh, absolutely. I think there's no question in terms of the need for it for the country, as well as the need for it for industry. I think that's very well established that everybody needs people who are adequately trained, skilled, especially like you said, they bring in the technology layer on top of it, as well as soft skills. The question again was, you are training fresh entrants into the workforce, as well as retraining those who are already in the workforce who need certain additional skills, right?
It's actually a multi-pronged approach. If you look at skilling, there are so many phrases like we skill both freshers and upskill the existing working professionals. And the students. Okay, we are, so what we actually are trying to do in a country like India is to create a pathway through education and skilling. See, like port terminals, shipping, inland waterways have come together. Similarly, in the skilling and education part, both have come together. There is no clear demarcation. If you look at education per se, the academia, it's got structure, whereas if you look at skilling, we have a lot of funding, especially through government CSR programs. We are trying to give it a structure, and just today's newspaper in the morning, I was very glad and enlightened to read a note from Mr. Piyush Goyal, where we are also part of the Ministry of Commerce. They have brought in a concept of one nation, one standard. For through BIS, Bureau of Indian Standards, where we are an integral part for especially driver training. We are trying to classify and segregate between agri, ODC, liquid logistics, bringing in standards for each of these sectors. It is not only for logistics, It is across, I mean, all the sectors that is there in the country. So we skill, we upskill, we reskill, we multi-skill. And as you're aware on the new educational policy, there's a lot of cross-pollination and liberalization that has happened. What that means is a tech guy can do a course on a non-tech and vice versa. So it has become flexible. So people who are into computers or science or STEM programs, they can take something on humanities, I mean, which was not the case earlier.
Sure. So how many of these jobs or the number of people whom you're training would you classify as creation of new jobs, like the entry level people where they are actually, the companies are augmenting their workforce and you're bringing them new talent?
Fantastic question, because there has been a complete churn in the, there's been a transformation in the workforce, the designations, the roles, responsibilities. Though I've been in logistics for 2-3 decades, I've never had the opportunity to learn anything formally. Okay, I knew how to move goods from place A to place B, or a factory to a distributor to through channel partners to a consumer. I was not taught formally. Today the opportunities are aplenty, and thanks to digitization and digitalization. So today things have become contactless, faceless, and we never had drones earlier. That is also getting into foray on the last mile delivery, especially on the vaccine part, where it is contactless, touchless. So the entire space is on a transformation.
Absolutely. So you're seeing the need for more new people to come into the business, to come into the industry at various levels.
New people, new designation, new salaries, which is unheard of. But there are a lot of flip side and challenges to that as well.
I was just going to ask you, what are the challenges that you're seeing?
Okay. So, see, the thing is today, though there's been a humongous need for skilled workforce, if you take India and you can slice it into two crescents, the left crescent and the right crescent. When I say left crescent, it starts from Delhi NCR till south, where you have a lot of industries, port terminals, companies which needs workforce. And currently in the left side crescent that I'm talking about, the demand is there, but to get the required workforce, I mean, it's kind of saturated. For example, if any logistic company needs people, say in Bangalore or Delhi NCR, they are finding it extremely difficult because the infrastructure, huge logistic parks, the road connectivity, the port terminals, ICD, CFS, the airports have all modernized. So these projects or these infrastructure needs projects, projects needs people. When I say people, it is the workforce. So this supply of workforce has to come from the right side crescent, which is the rural. Like I said, it is almost got saturated. So that is the key challenge that we are trying to address it with both government, industry and academia, trying to create a pathway, measure it, skill them, train them, certify them, and the challenge is to counsel them. What we find with the youth or the gig workforce today, there's one is they do not have clear directions. There is no loyalty. They do not stick to jobs like how we used to. You know, they just here tomorrow, gone, here today, gone tomorrow. So we need to counsel them, give them directions, and as we up the ante with skilling and certification, getting a kind of a critical mass, this will automatically come down. So this was a tried and tested method in Europe and US, which we need to replicate. I hope I answered your question.
Friends, we'll take a short break here, and coming up after the break, we'll continue our interaction between Gopi and Ramesh. Stay tuned and keep watching Trans India, real people, real emotions.
याद है कुछ इसी तरह का स्टंट मैंने आज से करीब 30 साल पहले भी किया था, लेकिन आज इस डबल ट्रक्स के स्टंट की वजह कुछ और है। डबल गारंटी पेश है नया महिंद्रा फ्यूरियो 7, जो आता है डबल गारंटी के साथ। महिंद्रा ये गारंटी देते हैं कि उनके नए महिंद्रा फ्यूरियो 7 का माइलेज आपके मौजूदा ट्रक से ज्यादा है। अगर ऐसा नहीं हुआ तो तो कर दीजिए ट्रक वापस। नया महिंद्रा फीरियो 7 आपको देता है गारंटीड रीसेल वैल्यू 5 साल के बाद। खरीदते समय माइलेज की गारंटी और बेचते समय रीसेल वैल्यू की गारंटी, तो हुई ना डबल गारंटी।
Great. Yeah. So to summarize, you said one is the gap in terms of supply of people geographically.
True.
So you need to move people from one geography to another.
Upcountry, rural to
the city,
mainland,
to the urban population centers, as well as to the coastal places to do with tourism and so on. And the other is in terms of expectations, the kind of tenure that people have with companies, the need to move on, which is far more than was in the past. So how do you get people to stick to a job? And how do you counsel them to actually look at building a career instead of hopping from job to job?
Interesting. See, if you look at the e-commerce, that has created or triggered great aspirational levels with the youth of today. Some of them are ignorant, some of them are innocent, some of them have, like I said, they have no directions. So we need to counsel them, tell them that they need to dirty their job, dirty their hands and move up the ladder from the grassroots. And the youngsters today, their aspiration levels are so high that day one they want to sit in an AC cabin and want a swanky bike or a car and look for instant gratification. I have done my job today, what is in it for me? I have done it this week or this month, what is in it? So, and some of these startups have also been fueling this by giving them swanky bike. I don't want to name the brand. So this has been accelerating. Actually, we need to counsel, educate, groom these kids and tell them, please be grounded and there is a way up. There is a pathway to be created for a very gainful employment or to become a startup or a gainful entrepreneur. So that is the path we are trying to achieve.
Wonderful.
But it's going to, every result has its lag. It'll take some time.
Yeah, see, one of the things you mentioned was, earlier generations used to stick to a job. They used to build a career within the company. One part, of course, was the expectations of the person. But the other also was, I think, earlier companies used to invest in making sure that people, they build loyalty. Loyalty doesn't happen by itself. They build loyalty. They build a career path for a person. They counsel them. They show them that there is a value in staying with the company for a longer time.
Correct.
And now you see there's a splurge of startups. The companies don't have a history as such. Obviously, so they don't have something to show and you tell people that, listen, if you stay here for 10 years, this is what will happen to you, because the company itself is only 3 years old or 4 years old.
Absolutely.
So how do you deal with that from the other side, from the employer side? Do you counsel the employers? Do you get them to put in place some mechanisms to retain these people and motivate them?
It's actually a part of our journey because, like I said, we have 3 pillars: the government, the industry, academia. So when we bridge them, different mindsets, different cultural, fitments or collaborations happen. So we counsel people. We deal across private institutions, government institutions, industries, both private and public, government, startups. So there is no one size fits all kind of a scenario. So different strokes for different folks. We do counsel them, tell them, groom them, and we've gone a step ahead in counseling the parents of the kids who are absolutely directionless. Especially when we try to migrate the chunk of people from rural. I have some good success stories where we've had placed a person from Rajahmundry and Vijayawada. His parents complained. His college complained that he's new from rice eating. He's gone to a roti eating, which is a big shift, and his hands are getting blistered. He has to take the shipments, parcels, cartons, bags, and stack it in the storage racks or trucks, and they started complaining. And we did empathize, and we spoke to the company, we spoke to the parents, the college, and instituted a mechanism of reward and recognition to bring in loyalty, to reduce attrition. So we had to do it in silo. And this happened during peak pandemic where movement was restricted. It was a challenge. We did this all online over calls, and it worked. So things changed when the industry stepped forward, and everybody has a role to play. They gave the reward and recognition, and these two boys from Vijayawada and Rajahmundry, they got an incentive, and they were star performers with the photos and banners put up in front of thousands of co-workers. That boosted them and gave them confidence. In return, the things totally flipped from a complaint to a success story, where they've also helped in bringing their cousins to join BBA logistic course that we've launched in these locations.
So you are getting the companies to recognize the efforts that are being put in,
Absolutely.
which then goes into a positive spiral of more people being attracted.
Absolutely.
You did mention that this was a BBA course, and you talked about colleges and so on. So most of this, a lot of this training is focused on a formal education system wherein the person gets a degree.
Correct.
It's not just that you acquire a skill, but you also get a label with it, a degree, so that you are more prepared to get into a career.
Absolutely. Right? Employability is the key. So what we've done is all the courses that LSE does, we do it for the nation, and this is again, like I said, a pathway created with dual training system. It has a component of theoretical and has a strong component of practical.
Okay.
So it is whatever is taught. I mean, just to be more explicit, the BBA degree, the first degree program that we've launched, with the clearance of the government of India, it spans for 3 years, like your BA or BCom, and it's got 6 semesters. The first 4 semesters, the student studies in the college. We teach him on various, all the 12 subsectors, warehousing, transportation, the latest one, GST, and a lot of technology is also getting adapted. So after he completes the 4th semester, we speak to the industry and deploy them. We work on a model called Recruit, Train, Deploy, RTD. The company recruits, we train and certify, and the boy gets deployed. So what happens is, whatever he's learned about warehousing, racking, or GST I told you, so he gets a hands-on experience. I mean, translating all the theory into practicals, and that is where the employability factor comes. Apart from that, we also skill train him on soft skills. We've just bought in a sandwich or a bridging course or whatever name you could give on from campus to corporates. So that is very, very essential to counsel, groom these kids. Yeah.
Wonderful. I can see there's a lot of focus on the employability, making sure that they are grounded, that the rubber meets the road in sense of practical training.
Absolutely.
In addition to the the kind of theory that is imparted. My question is now, other than college programs, because as you said, the industry needs people at various levels.
Correct.
They could be loaders, they could be packers, and so on. Not everybody needs a college degree to be able to do the role and also to have a career. So is there also a focus on purely vocational training and getting people at those entry-level jobs, in addition to those who are getting a degree and who will aspire to perhaps management positions down the road? So because I think the bottom layer in terms of, as you said, the drivers, the helpers, the forklift operators, the stevedores, I think they are also in short supply. How are you focusing on those elements?
Well said. In the bottom of the pyramid lies the critical mass, and as you are aware, logistics as in sector or industry is highly employee intensive, and more unorganized at the bottom of the pyramid. So we have blue collared workforce, grey collared workforce, driver. So these contents that we've created was never there. There was a vacuum or a void. So we partnered with various subject matter experts, with the industry experts who were kind enough in giving resources to create this. And thus we train these people, And mobilization is another challenge. Now, post-pandemic, what has happened is the government of India has taken cognizant that there is humongous need of skilling that is required, especially in the service sector. Manufacturing, you already have a pathway called apprenticeships, where people are trained in colleges, engineering, polytechnic, ITIs, and seamlessly integrated.
Sure.
This has not happened in the case of service sector. And one example, if you look at Navi Mumbai, Gurgaon, you see all the high-rise buildings. These are all, service sector.
Yeah.
There are no factories there. So you need skilled workforce, and this is going to only grow, keep growing. So to address the bottom of the pyramid skilling, so we skill train all the job roles that you said: picker, packer, binner, tooling, kitting, forklift operators, and for port terminals, we've also bought in simulator-driven training for HMB drivers, for RMQC, rail-mounted quake cranes for port, and this has been again on an uptick. And another interesting thing I would like to stress here or remark upon is, now the government of India has also married LSC with the OEMs of the trucking fraternity. So you need drivers of a different skill, like we are going to get in the electric vehicles. We are already skill training delivery executives, last mile delivery or D2C, direct to consumer guys, from two-wheeler, three-wheeler. Now it's moving up to buses and trucks. This requires a different skill. Another shift that we see is more and more companies have gender diversity targets. Okay, and they want more number of women, especially from upcountry, rural, to come into the mainland and make a livelihood, rebuild their livelihoods. So this is a shift that we've been seeing, and these contents have not been there. One end, these needs to be created. Another end, we see a great migration or the resignation churn, which is going to be quite rampant in this year. As per various reports, medias. So this is not only happening in India, it is a global phenomena, because technology has been a leveler, enabler. So we need to bring in more technology, logistic 4.0 courses, and take trucking. Today the drivers, if you look at their average age in the country, it is upwards of 45, and we see these drivers disappearing. There are more number of trucks and less number of drivers. We need to upskill, create freshers, and things have all gone paperless. Be it FASTag on your tool, all cashless payments. So some of the drivers need skill training. They are not used to. So these are the novel things that we are trying to embed into our training programs and upskill them to meet the requirements and demands of the industry.
Thank you, Gopi. Thank you, Ramesh, for this wonderful interaction. Friends, we shall be continuing this interaction next week. So stay tuned, and before you go, don't forget to subscribe to our channel to watch this interview and many more coming up in the future. Until next week, stay safe. Jai Hind.